Let's see who shows up today. If anyone should show up, the chat is open. And when you do show up, just just say something in the chat. So, so we're just gonna start off by just breathing today. Breathe. Know that it isn't about the mind. Okay. So, things can come from the heart. Your mind may want to do something, but it just doesn't feel right at that time. It's not about, you know, overworking yourself and doing so much where it doesn't feel authentic. Um, then again, I don't want to wake up one day and look back and go, oh man, that's what I didn't take advantage of. Because we're human beings, not human doings, which is so important. And if you would set a structure, then, you know, set a structure that is flexible, set a structure that you can work around it, that it doesn't feel so overwhelming, like so much that you have to do, so much um, burden, so much of a burden. Um, but yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to structure it and make it, you know, fluid and easy. And like when you're coming into it, then, theoretically, you would want to, and you can put more into it because you're not doing so much. Less is more. Less is more. Inspired, in spirit. It feels right for us to do this. Um, so anyway, um, and maybe if you're struggling to come up with a choice, like I know for the past year, I have been pretty indecisive about things. And I think it's then really, you know, I think it's just surrender. I think it is just relaxing into it and, doing things from the heart. Maybe you have it structured, but maybe, you know, dropping in instead of getting so up here when you're indecisive and in that place is so important because don't judge yourself for being in that, oh, everything's going well, that, very airy, mental place. But when it starts to get indecisive and really frustrated, where you're just doing it and it just does not feel authentic, there's resistance. You're only doing it because of the ego, because of your head. Drop in, just relax, and carry something out in that way. Um, because I could be doing a billion other things that I'm not doing. You know, it's really not beating yourself up about how you're using your time, if I'm using it wisely, if I'm taking the most advantage, because that can lead to criticism and turning in on yourself, harmful internal dialogue. It can be just guilt and also be unnecessary FOMO stress. Um, you know, that's not worth worrying about. I think the shadow side of mainstream left brain society, the shadow side of the left brain society with all of the ethics and morals is that it can rob what is natural. So focused on the right and wrong in the logical sense that it maybe can strip away from what is authentic, what is natural, what would feel natural, what would be the natural and heart centered thing to do. And I think that, well, it's something to be conscious of. I think that what I'm talking about today. So it's blending the left with the right. It's not like politics, even politics, even if you have the left side and you have the right side over here, it's not one extreme or it's not the other extreme. It is a balance between both. It is blending the two together. That is where it lies because life is so complex. Life is not just black and white, either or. It's both and that's so important is that it's both and. So, whereas, just self care, not people pleasing, and, you know, advocating for yourself, being in your sovereignty, um, you know, when it's taken too far to the left um, brain, then, oh, you can't do that because you need to think about the other person and it's a waste of their time. And, all these things that can actually become illogical. Logic combines, what is logical is the scale, the balance between the left and right. Logic is a term that can also mean blending the heart energy, blending, being in the present moment. What am I feeling? How connected am I in this person? You know, um, with this individual, this relationship, and and etc. I could list a million examples. There's so many, but it is, um, you know, supposed to be a balance again between the right and the left. We don't want to go too far left that things because of all the things that we're expected to do with because top down authority, all the things that are just right don't really have too much substance. How do we feel? Are we just going through the motions and doing it, living the world as a, mundane world, as a victim to, and a martyr to all the things we have to do and not speaking our truth and all of that? Or, are we just being in the present moment and, um, tapping into heart energy, um, the body, what's going on right now, and that sort of peaceful um, awareness and place of an openness, um, of doing something because we feel inspired in spirit to do it, and it really feels right for us. And this can not only be like doing something, but saying something to somebody, the job that we want, the relationship that we want, all these avenues of life. So when it comes to bridges and building bridges, I was listening to a gorgeous song by Barbara Streisand. It's one of her albums. It's called Walls, and the album is all about the problems of that are going on in the U.S. and America. And Walls is the title of the album, and Walls is one of the songs where it describes, goes beyond. It talks about both physical walls, more so, and metaphorical walls that we build as the detachment between ourselves and somebody else. It doesn't come from working at it in the mind, trying to overthink and change your perspective, change the way that you're looking about something, and try to be open minded. No, no, that's not what the song is talking about. We can build bridges because bridges connect two things. Walls separate two things. And, even if you would um, overthink and be critical of that and try to think about, oh, wow, that's a huge thought. Like sometimes I'm reading about something and I'm just, thinking about it so much because it's so huge. You know, it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be big. It's meant to be mind boggling. It's meant to be just so huge. Um, and it's not about beating yourself up over overthinking it and being critical as well. I think that that's a lesson that all of us go through life and learn is to not be in that state of, you know, criticism and high strung energy and, oh, I have to get this right and being so conscious and critical and frustrated. Let go, release, which is not always easy to do, but, you know, shadow side of the logical mind and ethics and morals of society is that it can get to a place where it lacks humility. What is humility? It is a feeling. It is a certain feeling that is similar to gratitude, where you don't have you know so much pride. You're not so in that defensive state, in that I'm right, you're wrong, frustrated, aggravated, passionate, resistant, sort of egoic place, but more in the heart and open hearted, without the shadow side of the ego. Notice I say shadow side of the ego getting in the way of that, getting in the way of learning, getting in the way of being grounded, peaceful, um, connecting with somebody else. I got an oracle deck the other day. It's called The Shaman's Dream by Colette Baron Reed and Alberto Villoldo. Um, and I'm going to type this out right here and now. I space will space put the link in the description for all of you to see. Both the links, I said links in the first sentence. I will put the links of the two channels down below in the description. Okay, so building a bridge is surrendering your defensiveness, your mind and the ego. you know you know I know what I know. I'm super, you know uh, what's the word, strong, headstrong, and self-righteous, that I am unwilling to build a bridge and connect to someone else and hear and understand where they're coming from. It does take surrendering, and it does take listening. Did you know that listen and silent, don't take my word for this, but listen and silent are spelled with the same letters? Everything has a reason. Even if it doesn't have a reason, even if some things don't have a reason, everything has a reason. There is a reason why listen and silent are spelled with the same letters, because it requires silence. It requires getting out of the ego and just letting go and just hearing the information, allowing, the information, to be, you allowing the information to be absorbed can also be from that. And being silent and being willing, um, and open to listening. Um, it, I don't believe that, that would be rocket science or anything. Um, so, where in your life do you think that you have been building a wall, cutting yourself off from somebody else? That detachment that can be unhealthy, that you tend to, even if you're in the same room, you turn away or you look at your computer or don't look at them in the eyes or you just say something and want to get it out and over with. Where can you just not be so shy and resistant and relax, trust, and say something, have the courage to say it, not being cryptic or, withholding yourself saying it. And maybe sincerity can also come with sincerity or just open heartedness. Maybe it's looking at the person, and this is not dictatorial, this is merely an invitation. Looking at the person in the eyes, being sincere as well. This can be included. But the main thing is just not being in that frustrated, egotistic, righteous state. That's the main thing. Again, I want to make this simple. I don't want to add so much confusion. I want to make this simple. So, simple and clear. So, walls keep you out, keep you in. Walls have warning signs. I'm quoting the lyrics from this song. And we can have a better day and we can have a better relationship. We can feel better, more connected. We can feel more at peace, more in abundance, more present. Um, you know, if we just let go and open up, because you may, I was watching a video by the astrologer Nadia Shah, and she was talking about synastry astrology. Synastry astrology, which I did not know about up to that point. I mean, I knew relational astrology, you know, compatibilities, but I just didn't come across the term synastry up until Thursday, about a week ago, is when I watched the thing. And all about different aspects of astrology because one of my sub channels is Everett Curdy Astrology on my channel, on my big channel. I have sub channels. So, I want to be within one big thing. So, some relationships like trines are so natural. Relationships feel like you don't have to work at them. You don't have to, you know, be in a certain state of mind or heart. It just is natural. It just, you could be in any state of mind, state of heart, and it, just goes so wonderfully. It's so relaxing. It's just amazing. The sex style as well. But what I want to point to is a square, a 90-degree angle, which is uncomfortable. A 90-degree angle. It's a square because you can make that little box. They say the warmest part of your house is a 90-degree angle. Like that's a riddle, that's a joke. That won't get old because I heard that from a friend um, a couple days ago. We were talking and sharing, and he um, said that because of temperature and the angle. But hot can also mean hot in terms of the fire that is in the low road aspect of fire. It is, you know, built up. It is, contracted. It is control and on guard, um, defensive, so, you know, absorbed in yourself and your point of view that it strips you off of opening up to somebody else. Some relationships don't feel like the natural things. It does require, um, it can require dropping in, it can require opening up the heart by relaxing and being in the now. And with the heart can come the mind as well, and being open and collaborating and making peace and, balancing out the relationship, give and take, um, you know, receiving and giving, patience, compromise, you know, some things. But I don't believe that there are any, I mean, there are bad relationships, but, especially those can really, really help you to evolve, change, and grow. Change plus, okay, change plus growth equals evolution and transformation as well, which is all Pluto. That's Pluto's, that's Pluto's country right there. Um, and Is there anything else that I think I do? Well, yeah. Um, it's just what can you do? Not playing the blame game, blaming the other person for his or her flaws or who he is. You know, what can you do? Where are you not being as open, as connected? How can I give more? How can I receive more? Be and feel more connected to this person. Maybe there is a scuffle, maybe there's something you just disagree with. It's an understanding of where they're coming from. Being sovereign in what you believe, but at that same token, not bending over backwards, not, I agree when you don't believe, when you don't agree. That's people pleasing. Shadow side of left brain. Don't want to go there. Um, but not being, again, just unopen and refusing to see the other person, understand where they're coming from, um, connect, and you know, it does take willingness, willingness and openness, and being in the moment. So, um, listening to those Bitter Angels, that's another song. Love is the only answer. What would love do? Love was a thing, a being. What would it do? And it doesn't come from overthinking and overthinking. Relax. Just relax. Don't make yourself a man. Oh, my wants. Just whatever it may be. Relax. And you will know. May not be so perfect in the mind, but you will know will just have that sort of knowing of just um, uh, what is the best way. What should I do? What should I, how should I be? All these things. And inner authority is one. So, I mean, and that's really Aquarian energy. The age of Aquarius is happening right now, and we're moving into it. Just started, we're moving into it, but it's really anytime. It's really not being so defensive and so self righteous, but, you know, being the individual, being the one who brings your piece of the puzzle to the table, contributing, saying what you need to say, what you believe, your truth, letting, having that um, timer that sand goes one direction. Now it's time to flip it over and have that balance and let the other person, you know, speak their truth, what they think, what they believe, whatever. So it's not one over the other. It's both. That is wisdom. That is powerful wisdom. Powerful. Aquarius, it's not about destructive rebelling, but merely thinking outside the box, bringing a new angle, a new way of looking at things, new way of doing things, new way of thinking, you know, new perspectives and new um, outlooks and ideas, and sharing and, connecting with others and inspiring um, others and moving into the future. So, what is the Aquarian future that you necessarily want as being a place where we can come together, where more bridges can be built, we're not so polarized and isolated, but where we're not giving over our power when we feel like no, 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 claiming our individuality, but not unhealthy detachment. Um, it's that sort of thing. Rebelling for a good cause, for a good reason, and new thinking being allowed, um, innovating, adding spice to your life. I mean, all these things, all these Aquarian things. And if you study Aquarius and what that whole thing is about, then maybe that will enrich upon what I'm talking about. And I could say more, but I think I've said a pretty good amount of things. Thank you for watching, staying till the end. Like this video so that it can get out to more people. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that when I upload a new video, you will see it. You'll know. Bye for now.